The other thing I want to talk about a little bit is malnutrition. My PhD is in nutrition. My undergraduate degree is in nutrition. I went to a medical school that had a really strong nutrition program. That's my thing. I could talk for a long time about how best to nourish yourself and what that means. There are going to be an entire videos, one on what to eat, one on how to eat. Those are coming right around the corner. So let me just start by saying, in terms of the overview here, people with Parkinson's disease, malnutrition is a really big problem. As I said, this disease probably starts in the gut and spreads to the brain. Your intestinal health is not that great for most of you. People with Parkinson's can have constipation and issues up to 18 years or more prior to the onset of their motor symptoms. When we look at people with IBS in their 20s, they're more likely to go on to get Parkinson's disease as they age. So we have a whole bunch of reasons to believe that the intestinal tract and intestinal health plays a role in Parkinson's disease. In fact, 50% of your body's dopamine is produced in the stomach. There's an entire nervous system that runs all throughout your intestinal tract called your enteric nervous system, where a lot of your dopamine and serotonin and neurotransmitters are produced. People often refer to it as the second brain. So I just want to kind of draw your attention to the intestinal tract, intestinal health, and that this is a really huge part of Parkinson's disease. Malnutrition is a problem not just because of the problems in the gut, but also because if you're not moving well and you're not moving with fluidity, it's harder to cut carrots. If you're constipated, it's hard to have an appetite. If you're not moving well, sometimes zippers and buttons can be really difficult, and people start even subconsciously restricting fluids so that it makes it easier. They're not having to make so many trips to the bathroom over the course of the day. So there are a whole bunch of reasons that people with Parkinson's are very susceptible to malnutrition. Even the loss of smell, probably one of the earliest symptoms in Parkinson's disease is loss of smell, and that really plays a role in taste and being satisfied by food. So all of these things combined kind of make people lose their appetite, not be very motivated to eat. You don't get the same pleasure from eating that you used to. If you're constipated, it's hard for more food to look appealing. And then even if you do eat it, your gut may not be in great shape and you don't necessarily absorb your nutrients. So some kind of early tips and tricks I can give you now is just to learn the term nutritional density, and really try your hardest to eat foods that are nutritionally dense. And what that means is make what you eat count. It is really easy. The average person gets about 2,000 calories in a day. It is so easy to get that with Twinkies and Guinness. I mean, you can fill up. You can be full. You can get the calories you need fairly easily. The problem is that they don't have much nutritional value in terms of micronutrients, vitamin C, vitamin K, the B vitamins, the minerals that you need. What you want to do is be very thoughtful about realizing, hey, if I only have 2,000 calories to get in today, how can I make those 2,000 calories be as healthy as possible, as packed with nutrients as possible? That's where fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and herbs and spices and things like that are going to come in. The foods that are most important for slowing Parkinson's progression. So as I said earlier, we have now surveyed over 1,000 people with Parkinson's. We're up to 2,000 people, but for the sake of maintaining my scientific integrity, after the first 1,000 people enrolled in the study, we did a formal data analysis. We cleaned the data set. We had statisticians come through and check and recheck the data and had this published in a peer-reviewed journal. And so I'm going to tell you the results of the study after the first 1,000 people enrolled in the data set, but we actually have now over 2,000 people and the data are only becoming stronger. So the foods that are most associated with reduced symptoms over time are fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nuts and seeds, non-fried fish, wine, olive oil, coconut oil, fresh herbs, and spices. Essentially a Mediterranean diet. Vegan plus fish, or however you want to label it. It is essentially a plant-based diet with seafood. So those are the foods that when we study the people who are doing the best over time with a diagnosis of Parkinson's, those are the foods that they are largely consuming. What about the people who have an unusually fast rate of progression? They seem to be developing more and more symptoms faster than usual. What are those people eating? Beef, dairy, fried foods, soda, diet soda and plain soda, canned fruits, and canned vegetables. The canned stuff was a bit of a surprise. Again, we'll talk about that in more depth in a later video. But those are the foods associated with the fastest rate of progression. Dairy is a tough one for a lot of people. It is a cultural staple in a lot of people's lives. It is something that we grew up learning was a health food. But I'm here to tell you, we now have, I believe there are 5 studies that say the more dairy people eat over the course of their life, the more likely they are to be diagnosed with Parkinson's. Our data very clearly says once you're diagnosed with Parkinson's, the more dairy you eat, the faster the disease progresses. This includes yogurt, cheese, ice cream, milk, sour cream, cottage cheese, anything that comes from mammalian breast milk. I say stop. Goat milk, camel milk, cow milk, all of it. Feel free to use the plant foods, almond milk, hemp milk, rice milk, soy milk, all of that's fine. But just no more breast milk from mammals. I think that's what we're seeing as being somehow associated with Parkinson's disease. We don't know why, but the data are very, very consistently telling us beef, dairy, fried foods, soda, canned fruits, and canned vegetables are associated with the fastest rate of progression. Fiber is your friend. Most Americans do not eat enough fiber. That's probably true in Europe as well. Really go out of your way to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, roughage, beans. Try and target maybe a half cup of beans a day. You can get that as hummus, you can get that as soup, you can get that in a whole bunch of ways, but try and find a way to sneak about a half cup of beans into your diet every day.